Oh, there we go. Boy, that took me 2 minutes to get started here. All right. I had the perfect angle and then it wouldn't start. So anyhow, I'm coming today to share with you a new journaling idea. And whether you're grieving or going through a struggle or just living life, one of the best ways to learn the Bible is to read it consistently. And I know the struggles, y'all. I've heard the stories, lived the stories. You always get distracted in the early days of getting into the procedure, or not the procedure, the consistency of reading the Bible. And I will say it probably honestly took me a couple of years to really be consistent. So I learned to, in those beginning days, when I wanted to just read through the Bible or read a chapter, and inevitably my mind would go, I'd wander, I'd want to fall asleep, whatever. The phone would ring, the door would ring, whatever. So I started with small bites, getting into some good devotions. In Touch Ministries has a great devotional. There's so many out there, and I'd be careful which ones you choose. Chuck Swindoll is a good one. Charles Stanley is a good one. Greg Laurie is a good one. So those are a couple of recommendations to start with. Proverbs 31 Ministries in North Carolina has a lot of fabulous info and devotions, and many bloggers and authors that write stories based on the Bible. So start with those and start getting familiar with the Bible, and then as you get comfortable, read before and after the suggested scriptures that are written, and then you're going to be gaining momentum and you're going to be more familiar, more comfortable with the verbiage. Pick a choice Bible that you enjoy reading, okay? I started out with a King James, but as a young child, it was so daunting. The verbiage was just like so boring, right? So, but learning back in the day from the King James, because that's what the standard churches used. So there's a lot of scripture that I do like to refer to with the King James. Then I went to the book, which is became my favorite Bible, and mine is buried here. Let me see if I can grab it. I have shown this many times. I guess you can. It was out of print for a while, but this was very popular back in the day, in the end of the 70s, early 80s. It's kind of like The Message, written in plain talk, if you will, real easy to understand. So if you are challenged with reading and understanding, I definitely recommend this version. It's from Tyndale. They're very trusted with their Bibles. They've been around for a long time, but this one is worn out, taped up, written on, highlighted, a lot of notes in there, and that became my Bible for many, many years. And then I went to the Women's Devotional Bible, which I don't have here handy, with the NIV. NIV is a pretty standard Bible, easy to read, easy to understand. So I definitely suggest the NIV. Today I'm going to be using the NLT Devotional Bible, and this one I picked. Christian Bookstore has a lot of good Bibles. I just kind of collect Bibles, but I like to change up my reading, and sometimes I need. Hold on one second. One second. There. Sorry about that. The little tunes got a little bit loud. But I like to change up my reading because I've been reading the Bible since I was about 12. And so that's many, many, many years. But I do like the NCV, the NLT, what other version? What other version do I use? But yeah, I go back from my Bible studies. I usually refer to the NIV. But so a Bible thing, go to christianbooks.com, look around. I know it's not the same as looking or grabbing a Bible in hand. I really miss the family bookstore. So if you do have a Christian bookstore, or you can go into Hobby Lobby, they do carry Bibles, and I think Walmart still carries Bibles as well. You don't have a big choice, a big variety, but you do have some good standard Bibles if you need to touch it and see it in person. Those are two stores that I know that at least they used to. Post-COVID, a lot has changed, but I do think because Hobby Lobby is a Christian organization or Christian-based store, and Walmart still carries the variety of books. So you don't get many. You get usually whatever the current trend is at Walmart. Your local stores might carry some too. So anyhow, with that said, I have a new journaling technique that anybody can do. So if you are a person, this is what I've learned as well, is so many people, I have led Bible studies, I've been in Bible studies my whole life. And I know the struggle in the beginning days, especially if you've got young kids. It's so hard to do Bible studies and stay focused through the whole thing, through the 4-week, 6-week, 8-week, 12-week. But it does get easier as the kids get older, and they've got more responsibilities with their own homework and so forth. So they frees you up a little bit at time. It's usually best to do it early in the morning before everybody gets up, or at night when they're kind of, you can make the bedtime earlier, saying, you know what, guys, mom needs a break. 8:30, I kind of like you guys to have your baths done, your teeth brushed, and go hang out in your bedroom for a while. Whether you read a book, listen to music, do your hobby, but just kind of it's going to be chill down time for all of us. And, set your boundaries, because you deserve an hour time, 45 minutes to, don't do it out of 5-minute obligation. Dig deep. Take the half hour to an hour. I would say an hour. Start with a half hour, and then you'll gradually work up, and then you're going to find, like, can I just spend 3 hours doing this? So, what I found a group that writes out the Bible by hand. That's huge and daunting. Very courageous for those who are just starting to read the Bible. But for those of us, like the Old Testament, some of that, I just don't have it all down pat in my head. Sometimes we skip through the hard words or the hard names, or we don't connect the dots with the lineage and so forth. So this is a great way to kind of slow down when you hand write the Bible. Now you can, I was thinking this today. It's like, how do you want that stack of papers piled up? I've got so many piles, and I go through them and get rid of them every year or a couple years. But I think that it's just like a good homework assignment. You don't have to keep it. If you want to, that's great, and you could even have it bound at like Office Depot or Staples or whatever. You could have them bind it. And I'm going to just kind of flip the phone around here and show you just a few little tricks, because I just started doing this in the Old Testament, because I got the New Testament down. I don't know if I will write out the New Testament, but the Old Testament, I know for me, I need to really dig in and learn. So what I have found out, that I started with Genesis, and it's like, oh, this is going to be daunting. So it's that whole reward system. Most everybody loves the Psalms and can relate to them. The Psalms are written mostly by David, and usually when he's in a conundrum and he's calling out to God for help because he's in a situation. And boy, aren't we all going through some kind of situation? We always have, but it's even more so now. So what I'm doing is I'm alternating. Genesis 1, Psalm 1. Genesis 2, Psalm 2. So I have 2 piles. Okay, so that is a little, that might be daunting after a while. I'm debating now whether or not I want to just maybe after a small pile, maybe I'll just pitch the pile, because the exercise is actually for me to learn the word, to learn what it's saying. And so it's a great exercise. I mean, I don't keep my homework from school. Bye-bye, you're gone. And I know some people might think that's sacrilegious, but you're not throwing out the Bible. You're just throwing out what you've written. And again, if you want to keep it, you've got space to keep it, go ahead and do it. I'm debating what I'm going to do with it. But anyway, I'm going to flip the phone around and show you if I can. Now, how come it's not letting me turn this around? Ah, all right. Oh, this is interesting. Give me a second here. Sorry. I don't know why it won't let me. Do I have to do this upside down? I've never had this problem before. Huh. This is very interesting.